So hello once again. Welcome to class. Welcome to another class. So last week, hope we are doing fine. So last week we started and finished our design system, which is our style guide. We also responsive design. Where we design for web view and mobile view. So today we are be going we're going to be looking at prototype. So I want to officially welcome you guys to the prototype phase. Um, we actually we are making headways. Welcome to the prototype phase, and I'm really happy that we have made it this far and we are still here and we are still pushing. So before we get started properly, I would like us to send in our favorite emoji in the chat to share our readiness for today's class and also to express how your day has been in the chat. So feel free to send in your favorite emoji, your chat. Okay, someone has added a little volume. All right, noted. Recent loss. Okay, Efan, why are you crying? Okay, Adele, thanks, brain. Wow, that one is me. Thanks, Ichu. We have not even started. It's already choking. Don't worry, we'll be fine. Is that all? Because I really want to know how we are doing. Um, yes, I can see your eyes though. Getting interested. Okay. So staying in school. Okay, that's really nice. Okay, let's sit tight and enjoy. Please, take your pen, paper, anything that will help you to remember later. Anything that will help you. You can actually take it. You can also record your screen. Because this class is going to be a little bit complex, but we're going to be fine, definitely. Okay, let's start now. So we're going to begin at prototype. I think we touched this when we are talking about the five design thinking process. The prototype is a simulated version of the product um, that allows you to test its functionality and user experience before investing time and resources into full development. You can also say a prototype is a model that simulates functionality and user experience of a product to actually help it for users to understand how the product will function, how the product will work, help your users to navigate through before the product is fully implemented and developed. So in prototype, we have what we call prototype connection. And say prototype connection refers to the link and interaction established between different screens, page elements in a prototype. So we have a prototype connection consists of three parts where we have the hotspot, the connection, and destination. Don't worry, we all understand this thing very soon. So the hotspot refers to the connection, the interaction. It's basically where the interaction takes place. For instance, when you click on a button, what happens? So the hotspot, the point of like entry, the point of interaction. A hotspot can be on a frame itself or on an object in a frame. You can have your mobile frame. You can actually want to navigate from one frame to another. You want to navigate from the home page to maybe the settings page or the screen. You can also create hotspots on buttons, icons, any element on it, even your text. You can also make it a hotspot, a point of interaction. Then we have connection. So connection is the arrow or nozzle that connects the hotspot to its destination. You know how we talked about user flow. So you can actually say your connection is more like an arrow, a line that connects one screen to another. So when you click on a hotspot, it's an arrow will show that will help you to connect that your hotspot to its destination, more like a bridge from one screen to another. Um, So a connection defines interaction, trigger, action, and adjust animation settings from the connection. So you have destination. So destination is where the connection ends. So from your hotspots, when you click on, let me say, on the get started button, it should actually take you to a destination, maybe which can be actually a login screen or a sign up screen. Then we have so this is your frame one, and this is your frame two. But when we get to Figma, we'll do a practical example. But for now, we are just assuming that this is our hotspot, this first one. So you want to connect this screen to this screen. You want your users from this screen, which is the frame one, to land on frame two. So this one here is our hotspot. So once you click on the hotspot, you get like a connection that will direct you to your destination. So if I click on make payment, that which is my hotspot, the make payment button, it should take me to my destination. You understand? So that's where you can actually say that the user have interacted with your product. So let's take this. So we have types of prototype. The same way we have types of wireframes, we also have types of prototype. So we have what we call low fidelity prototype, which is a low fi. So this low fidelity can actually like be a free sketch or your low fidelity wireframe that you did on your Figma. You can actually connect these screens, share it with your users for them to like navigate through. Yeah, at this point, you're actually looking at functionality. You're not looking at the beauty of the product at this stage. So low fidelity prototypes actually quick, inexpensive, but you can actually do it on a piece of paper. You can actually just sketch something and send it to your stakeholders, send it to your users to navigate to. It's actually used for the early stage of design exploration. At this stage, when you are testing for core functionality, gathering initial user feedback. If I've sketched out these my screens on a book and I give it to like my brother, my user, a user that I've interviewed, this user will navigate through, maybe use the connection, like the arrows, navigate through and see if the problem that you identify at the research stage, if this your prototype, the solution you are bringing forth is actually like addressing this problem. So this low fidelity is actually like very fast. You don't need to really need to design the design. You don't really need to pay money. You can actually do it on a paper, do it as the low fidelity that you did on your Figma, and you're good to go. Then we have what we call high fidelity prototype, which is a high type. So this is where you actually are done with your design. You have your colors, you have your button, everything is set. You can actually learn because the product is actually looking like a final product. You can actually like send it to your users. This high fidelity prototype is actually good for usability testing. When you can actually use a software like Maze, uh, add your prototype link there. I think we'll be doing usability testing on our next class. Add the prototype link there. Give your users prompts. Okay, give them, I want you to log in. Allow them to navigate and see if the user is able to log in successfully. I want you to fund your wallet. Let's check if the user is able to like log in, fund their wallet successfully, depending on the kind of product they are working on. So it depends, there's no one size fits all approach. Depending on the kind of product you're working on, you can actually work with a low fidelity, which is also fine. You can work with a high fidelity, depending on the design process and the specific goal at which you are carrying out this prototype. Please, before I continue, does anyone have any questions so far? So good. Okay, Ekon. Ekon, you can unmute your mic now and ask
Can you
your
hear me?
question. Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I think I'm just a little bit confused. At this stage, this high fidelity
Ekon, you're breaking. Type it. I
where
don't
the
know. I think
user
the network is bad.
gets to do stuff like funding wallet. What now is the job of the design? Oh, okay, can you hear me? Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. You actually break it. I'm going to give you another chance to unmute your mic again and ask the same question again. But if it's not working, you have to type it in the chat. Okay, unmute your mic and ask again. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Unmute your mic and ask the
Yes,
same
I can
question
hear you. Can you hear
again.
me well now?
Yes, it's better.
Okay. I was saying if at this stage of the prototype, I mean the high fidelity prototype, a user can do stuff like during the usability testing phase, can do stuff like
Mm,
funding wallets.
okay.
That's the end now. What now is the job of the developer?
Okay. It's just like a model. It's not actually functioning. It's just more giving them like a direction, a guide of what this flow is supposed to do. So with this flow, I want you to fund your wallet. You allow the users to navigate through. The app is not fun. It's just like a model. It's just you know what a prototype is? It's just something that is not functioning yet, but this is how it should function. Do you understand? You can't really input your details on a prototype and you can't really get like, for instance, if you make a transaction, you can actually see what the um let me say the pop-up will look when you do a transaction, but it's not functioning. You understand? Users, it can't really make it, it can't really make use of it in the real life. You understand? Because it have not been developed and implemented. You're just looking like what it should look like, assuming this is working. This is how it should look like. So you have your architect. This is how we want this house to look like. But the house is not ready, but this is how it should look like. So from your parlor, you should move to your room, from your room like that. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. Thank you, ma.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the only question we have. Okay. All right. So let's quickly go to Figma and try prototyping. Oh no. Um. All right. Please confirm that you can see my Figma file. Can anybody see my Figma? If the time is asking me to prototype the same thing as wireframe. Esther. Hmm. See, somebody should answer her in the chat for me. Um. Okay, let me stop sharing and share again. Mm, okay, okay. So can you see my Figma now? Okay, you can see my Figma. So we're going to um start with the basics for now. Then with time we can actually check the advanced type of prototyping too. So I'm going to quickly take a frame. So let's say iPhone, mm, let's say iPhone 13, 14. So we have not used that before. So I'm going to name this our hotspot. I just want to demonstrate how the hotspot and the connection works. So I'm going to let me check. Go ahead and change this color to just a around color here. Then I'm going to name this our destination. It's just for us to understand how prototyping works. So now that you have your two frames, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to click. Currently, we're in the design and mode. So we're going to go to the prototype by clicking here. When I click here, and I click on a frame, you see, I'm going to have a plus around my frame. So this plus now is going to help me. It's not like the connection. It's going to help me to connect to other things I want to connect to. So by clicking on one, I'm going to like take out the arrow and connect it to the frame I want to connect. This is actually my hotspot. So if I want this to connect to the last thing, I should actually click on the hotspot and take out the connection arrow and connect it to the last thing. So here we have so Figma have different trigger, I think about 9 of them. So you have on click, on drag. So if I click on this page and want this should come up, if I drag this page, I want this to come up. While hovering, if I'm hovering on something, what should happen? If I'm pressing, what should happen? Keypad, mouse enter, mouse leave. My mouse enter, what should happen? My mouse leave the screen, what should happen? So just take your time um and study each of them and know how it functions. But for the purpose of this class, I'm just going to do some examples. So this one is on click. So before we continue, I'm going to go back to our design screen, design mode. I'm going to change this to, let's say, red or any color. So just say black. Yeah. I'm going to go back to our prototype mode again. Black. So now we have, I'm going to take out, I'm just going to. So once you're done with your prototype, you see up here, you see flow starting point. It actually helps you to put a starting point for your flow. You can actually have different flows in your design where you for this flow I want the users to log in. For this flow I want the users to maybe add to cart. For this flow I want the users to maybe search. So you can actually like add different starting flow for each of them. The same way you did your user flow, you can actually like add different flows for them so that users can understand when they're navigating through. Or you can actually like connect everything at once and you just have one starting point. But if you have different tasks that you want your users to work and to navigate with, you can actually have different. So you can have starting flow one, flow two, flow three, and you can name them properly. So I'm clicking on the first screen and I'm adding our starting flow, right? The next I want to do, I'm going to click on this prototype setting and I want it to be iPhone 13, 14. Even when I want to, okay, we don't have 13, 14. I think I will just go with 14. Yeah, I think I'll go with 13. Yeah. You can also change the color that you want. Do you want it to be silver? You can just set your prototype how you want it to be. But I'm going to, let's make use of gold. You can also change the background, but you can actually like adjust it the way you want from the prototype setting. So I'm going to go ahead and click here for now. So this prototype that we did is for on the hotspot. If I click on the hotspot, I want to land on the destination. So we're going to just quickly check if it's working. So if I click, yeah, so we are good to go. For the button that we did, I just want us to I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So we understand what the hotspot is, the connection is, and the destination is. So we have different trigger that you can actually work with when it comes to prototyping. So to remove the prototype from, I can always come here and remove starting point. Also come here and remove the prototype and it's back to normal. So before we start, I think I will just use our button as an example. Uh, So we made a button here. And somebody was even asking me, why did you do all the buttons and all that? So we're going to go ahead and prototype these buttons. Maybe one, two, three. The first one, the second one, and the third one. Then we stop there. All right. I'm going to zoom in again. So for this button now, I want if the user click on this default button, I want it to land on the active button. If the user hovers on the active button, I want it to land on the hover state. So I'm going to go ahead. Once it's still on the prototype. Once you click on the prototype, let me zoom in a little. Okay, I think this is clear. Okay, so I'm going to click on the default and I'm going to add the trigger. So on click, there's also on tap. So on click, I want it to navigate to the active button. So I'm going to change it to active. So you can change the navigation to, or you navigate to, what have I done? Let me go back. So on click, I want it to change to active button. It's already selected for me because I use my connection to go to the active. But in a situation where this connection button is actually very far, you have to like do it manually by selecting where you want it to be here. You want it to be on default. Once you click on the default button, do you want it to go to disabled? Do you want it to go to active? So I'm going to pick active because that's where I want it. But I want it to be on. Okay. So once you see that your when you're prototyping and this kind of thing happens that your button is disabled, it actually shows that you have added an interaction to that before. You look at your left panel, you see that we have actually added like an interaction to it before, which is on click. That is why on we cannot add two interactions to a particular element. That is why this click will be disabled. So we're going to go to our left and remove the drag, remove everything. So we're removing everything now. So this is our default button. So when I click on this default button, I want it to bring out the active button. So I'm going to repeat it again. On click, active, state, and we are good to go. So the next one, I'm going to take this connection and I'm going to on click, let's say on hover, while hovering, change to hover. So I'm going to take for the hover, let me say on drag, change to disabled. So let's test one and see if this works. So I'm going to take maybe say iPhone 13. I'm going to go back to our design and I'm going to change the color of this to something like this. And I'm going to take our button. I'm going to drag and drop. Yeah. And I'm going to zoom in again and I'm going to expand this button a bit so that we can see it clearer. And I'm going to put it in the center. We can actually see increase this button a bit too. Okay. The next thing I want to do now is I want to check the prototype. So I'm going to make this frame my starting point right now. And I can do other settings if I want to. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to play and see if it works. So on click, to change on hover, I'm hovering, on drag, okay, let's see, drag. So drag is not really coming up, see, the disable is not really, okay, on drag, let's see. So let's restart and see, let's see where it works. So on click, changes, hover, the color changes, on drag. I don't know why the drag is not really coming up. So you have to like take your time and check everything. Okay, yeah. So you have to drag it properly before it to come out. So this is how everything works. So generally when you're prototyping and you want to design a disabled state, this state, I want this button to show up when the user clicks here. So that's how that works. I think somebody asked this question in the last class. So we're going to go ahead now and do small interaction, but I would like us to like quickly design maybe 2 or 3. So let's go to dribble and look for something to design first so that you can do the prototype for it. So let's see onboarding. Something fast. Onboarding. Okay, let's start. I don't know. The second time. I'll give it time to load. I don't know why it's taking time to load. Uh, um, okay, I think we are good to go. So let's look for something basic and just play around it. Um, what can we work with? What can we work with? Something that we can actually work with now. Can we work with this? This is not really fine, but I think we can use it always. So you always go to your dribble to get inspiration. So when you have signed up to dribble, let me know in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So we're going to quickly replicate this. Because of time, this design is not really fine. I'm going to paste it here, paste here. So we have the design that I want to replicate. Please, are we still following? I would like to get your reaction in the chat. If you're following, type I'm following. Okay, yes, please. Somebody's following. Okay. So we're just quickly going to quickly design this. So it's okay. Uh-huh. I'm going to take a frame here. Just do something fast. I'm going to go back to my design mode. Okay. Might not really get exactly because I don't really know the kind of illustration that they use. So we just play around with another illustration, but get three screens. So I for the first screen, let's say we are making use of okay. So let's use another color. I think we have used blue enough. So I'm going to use my color picker and take this color here. And I'm going to cancel. So I'm going to take maybe my first two and let's say fashion. I'm trying to do the splash screen. Just this is our logo or entry point. I'm going to let's do something playful in this one. Okay, this can really work. Because of time, I think I will just work with what we have. Fashion or let's say I think I just work with this one now. So this is our splash screen. This onboarding is not really user friendly. Can anybody tell me why it's not really user friendly? Anyone? Why? What is wrong with this onboarding screen? Nobody. So something is actually wrong. So there's no a progress bar to show the user that okay, I'm in the first screen. There's no progress bar here and there's no skip. If I already have this information, why do I need to like go through this again? I can actually skip and just log in. So I'm going to put this down. Let's keep it down. The next thing, I'm going to duplicate this now, and I'm going to change it to white. So nobody knows. Wow, you guys are breaking my heart. Onboarding. But in one, so we're going to get an illustration. So I'm just going to let's see. I think I have story set by prefix. You can actually get illustration from them. And you can work with. So let's wait for it to load. Taking time. Okay, it's here. So what else today is so I can actually change the color of the illustration that I want. Before we do that, I would like to get this blue. I want our illustration to have this blue color here. I'm just going to use this and get the color. Going to use our pen to, sorry, our color picker, and I want to get this blue. Now I come here and I copy the color code. Then I come to background detail here and I change the color to this blue. So everything will not change automatically. So I'm going to go ahead, let's say fashion. I hope we'll find illustration for fashion. Okay, I think we have. So I'm just going to click and drag. So I'm just going to pick everything that we need once so that we don't have to come back here. Okay, we are good. The next thing we want to do, I'm going to turn on our grid now. I'm going to put on our grid. So we need to scale this a little. Remember what I said about scaling? Scaling will actually give you decimal. But I actually know the size of your frame. So I actually know the size of my frame. I'm going to go ahead and do 327, right? And I want to reduce the size, the height to 300. Let's see. I think this is okay. So much of my grid and see. Let's put on our grid and see. I'll also check if this is aligning to my, so it's 24 and our grid is 24, so we are good to go. Okay, we're actually good to go. The next thing we have is open your fashion shop. So let's just use a dummy test. Let's say open your fashion store. I don't really have test for it, but so I'm going to go down to, okay, let's do 20 since it's mobile. And I'm going to change this to semi-bold. I'm going to center align it here. I'm going to change this. This black is too sharp. So let's go with something not too sharp. So somebody should just give me a test. Okay, I don't know. I don't want to use please don't use Insta for me. It's not really a good practice. So let's get you started by opening the store. Okay, changing this to 16 in a store with your smartphone. Don't really have a text in mind. I'm going to, yes. For this, I want to do center align. Let's align to the center. I guess I also want to align to the center, but I don't want this to be bold since the body text. So I'm going to make it regular. Okay, I think this is okay. Next thing I want to add that they didn't add, but it's a good practice, is a progress bar. So just quickly go ahead and play around. I'm going to go change this to let's say 10. I'm using a pen. Let's pick a color. So I'm going to pick this their blue. Let's pick their blue. Let's pick this blue here. I'm going to reduce this. Let's make it 8. And let's make this let's say 48 for now. Or I can actually reduce it a little. Then I'll go ahead and duplicate this. Control D, duplicate this, so that's something fast. So this is 30, this is, I'm going to make this 30, that's actually very good. So let's say it's 12, how is it, 12 and 12. So I can see what we are doing. Let's say 8. No, 8. I'm not using um I'm not using Eclipse. I'm actually making use of frame. So when you want to make use of frame, the shape, the size, the corner radius. If you want to use a frame to get like a circle, you can make the size equal. I think we should just work with this. So since remove this for now. So the first one is we're going to go ahead and change this to let's say if I go here and just work it. I think this is fair. The spacing in between is 4. Can we make 8 and 6? Oh, too big. Not bad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use auto layout, so shift A, and I want the space in between to be, let's say 16, depending on what you want. So I want the space here to be, let's say 20. Let's change it to 20, and I'm going to center align it. Now I want the space between this, our illustration and this to be, let's say, I'm going to check the space in between, which is 47. Let's take it and make it 40. Okay. The next thing we're going to have now is a button. So where will you put the button? This is our text, actually very big. So I'm going to get our button here. Button. So the button says next. Next. I really want the button to extend to the end of the frame. This is remember. Right? I want the space between this button and this to just be 100 for now. This in the center, this is center, this is okay. Let me zoom out and see what we have. Okay, so we're just quickly going to duplicate this screen and just change the illustration across. I'm going to delete this for now. This design is okay. So what happened? This should not move with us, or it's still loading. So let's confirm. It will not move with us. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. I know why this is not moving. So this frame is not in our onboarding. So like I said, the first way to do it is actually to drag this and put it below here. Now this is there. But another way to do it is control this. I'm going to just copy this frame and cut it. Click on my onboarding frame and paste it here. Okay, then center align it. I'm going to put the spacing back to 40. Okay, and we are good to go. So it's either you do it by dragging it down or you just copy it and paste it inside the frame. So I'm going to duplicate this. Automatically it's naming onboarding. So I'm going to go ahead now and change this to our 327,300. 327,300 because I know this thing, the size and the weight of my frame, so it's easy for me to. So I'm going to copy it, come here, place and replace. So yeah, good. The next one is onboarding tree. So this, let's check. This is actually 40. This to this is 70. Uh, 1, 2. So let's check. This is 1, 2, 40. Let's check this. So this is 70. This is 72. Always check. If you assume, you might not get so this is our last one. So actually name this one get started. But if you're doing your onboarding screen, always make sure that your onboarding have something before skip and all that. Make sure that it's actually functioning properly. So let's say this is get started. Started just for the prototype. Okay? So this one we are going to quickly swap this so that to be in the middle. We are going to click on the one that we want and let it be in the last place. Okay, we are good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and change this one back to 327 300. 300. I'm going to copy it, come here, place to replace. Okay, so we are done with our onboarding. We are good to go. So we're going to quickly prototype this. Are we still following? I think we should just change our button to black. Click on it. I'm going to detach and I'm going to copy, use my pen tool, sorry, color picker to change it to black. Okay, not bad. Can actually work with it. It's not the best, but manageable. Are we following? So many times so fast. So sorry. I'm actually taking my time. Okay, we are following, right? Okay. So sorry. I'm going to do other ones too that you can actually check. So now that we are done with our, so we are assuming this is our logo fashion. Funny. We are assuming this is our logo. You can actually play around with icon shape to get better logo. Don't be like me, please. So I'm going to go ahead and prototype this now. So I'm going to click on the prototype as usual. Let me zoom in again so that we see. So I'm going to, so which one are we using? On click, um, it's to navigate to onboarding one. Still on click, it's to navigate to onboarding two. On click, it's to navigate to onboarding three, right? So let's go ahead. If I click on this button, I want it to, yeah. So we can actually go ahead and also add interaction to this our progress bar. So if I put interaction on the second one, it should take me to the second one and all that. But for this class now, I just want us to just check between frames. Maybe in the next I'll check between images and all that. In the next session, we still have time. So we are good to go. So get started. I would like get started to take me back to the splash screen because we don't have all that design. So on click, you should take me back to the splash screen. See why it's always good to name your screen. It's actually here. Just imagine everything here is frame. You will get confused. So we're going to go ahead and let me change this prototype to silver and play and see. So on click, on click, on click. Are you following? Take me back. On click, next, next. Is that clear? Any questions so far? Okay, see circle totally called progress bar. Tell show you that you are currently in the first one, currently in the second one, and the last one now. All right. So that's that. So quickly go to example. This example what? If you're following, please indicate in the chat. This example what now? He's following. If you're not following, just call it a night and go and sleep. This example what? Zero to example one. So the bottom one is example zero. Okay. Okay, example one. Okay, let's call it example one then. So let's quickly do what call let's do another animation. But this one I would like us to do it on a web desktop here, since we have done on a, a mobile. So let's go ahead and do on a desktop. So I'm going to go back to my design mode here. This one is going to be this is going to be a little bit complex, but let's see if we're going to survive. So all right, so I'm going to turn on my grid here. So this is what somebody asked. This on special request. I think it's Richie or somebody that asked for Carousel. So just because of that special request that we are doing this now. So let's see. Okay, so we have our frame and we just going to play around. So I'm not going to really design anything. I just want to show us how another interaction that you can do with your Figma, how it works. So let me name this um so let's start with it. Uh, so I've gotten the frame size I need. I'm going to go ahead and put it here, and I'm going to name this photo or photo one. Let's see. Please, if you're not following, you can always raise up your hand and ask me. Okay, so I'm going to add image to this page right now. So I'm going to use photos by free pics. I think we have used on Flash before. We have used Pixel. So let's use photo by free pics. These are plugins that you can actually get your pictures from, your photos from. So I think we just do something fast. I think food. Okay, I love food. I love food. Say hi. Uh, um, uh, we don't love food here. So, I'm just going to go ahead and just don't know what's happening. Okay, I've added it. I'm going to change the corner radius to 4. I don't really like working with sharp corner radius. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this in 5 places and just change the images across. So this one, I want it to be this. If you're not following, call my attention. So don't know why this is taking time. Let's change it to the just taking time to load. Yummy, yummy. All right. Sending me an OEHD and Ayo, my food partner. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Wow. This is actually nice. And change this to this hamburger. Oh, this is can actually do fast. Okay. I don't know if it's my network, but I don't know why it's taking time to load. Okay. So the next one, we let's add other. Let's change this one. Let's change this one to let's look for nice. Um, okay, I'm going to go ahead and change this last one to something else. Maybe just take it's actually taking time to load. Let's just put the one that we can see. Where are these food? Are we hungry? Okay, I think, is that all? I think we have added to everything. Yes, I think we are good to go. Let me zoom in. Okay, so yes, I'm going to go ahead now and hmm, I'm going to highlight all of them and put them in a group. So I'm going to just highlight this and group it. Left click. You can actually do your Control G to group, but I'm going to left click and do group selection. I want the space in between to be, so we're going to work with our margin now. So remember what our margin was. So I'm going to detach and see the margin. So the margin is 80. So I want the space in between to be 80. I want the space in between these photos to be 80 because my margin is 80. You can actually do it your own way if it actually works, but that's like my little hack. The next thing I want to do is still clicking on the group. I'm going to add a frame. Let me zoom out so people that cannot see. Or let's just bring this down so everybody can see it. I'm going to put it here. So I'm going to click on the group and I'm going to add a frame selection to it. Now this frame selection, I'm going to name it okay, don't know. Let me say image, food image, I did food photo, food photo, photo. The next thing I want to do now is I'm going to click content. Let's put it here. I'm going to click content and I'm going to take it from here to the first photo that we have. Is the main. So clip content will actually help to clip to a particular content that you want to showcase for now. So next I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. All the person that requested for this class is in this class. So I'm going to duplicate this. What happened? Okay, I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to look at my right panel. I'm going to click on only the group and I'm going to move it. You can actually move it manually. Most times, just to place it, you can move it with your left or right and this thing, or you can just move it by shifting it inside the frame. But moving with left arrow can be a little bit slow. So I'm going to come here and on click content just to be sure that our food listing is inside the frame. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and click on the frame back, which is our food frame, and I'm going to click content and I'm going to push this here, right? So this one I'm going to name it food photo one, food photo two, since the first one is one. Now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this again. I'm going to still bring it down, bringing it down so that I can check if it's. Then I'm going to click on the group again and I'm going to take it. So this is what happens when I'm moving it. I'm going to move it small. Okay, it's actually leaving the frame. I think we'll have to do it manually. Most times, if I'm moving it, if I'm moving it with my, okay, but let's move it manually, please. Okay. So you just have to find what works for you and stick with it. I'm just going to move this manually. Or you can actually minus it, but I didn't really calculate the frame size. You can actually minus it from the X. Okay. So let's see. This is taking time. Let's see if it's inside the frame. It's not inside the frame. Half size. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click content and see. Okay, so we have our the third one. So I'm going to put it here. We're going to go ahead and do the fourth one and the fifth one. I'm going to bring this down now. So this is our photo frame. So I'm going to still click on the group and move it. Okay, we have left the frame. Yeah, so it's inside. So I'm going to go ahead and it actually left the frame. That's why we can't really do Ctrl Z and see. This is not working. I think I've tampered with it already. I've tampered with the frame, so you have to be very careful. So I'm going to duplicate this and work with it. Okay. So clicking on the group, we're going to move. Where's it manually? So I'm doing it manually now. You know what? Let's try that calculation method. So this is 1 to 80. Coming. Let's try if this can work. So let's minus on the group. So click on the group. Let's minus 112, 128 and see. Yeah, so you can actually minus it and you get what you want. Then you can now do it manually. So you know the size of your frame and the one that will fit the next one. You can just do it mathematically by minusing the next one with the next one and you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and add the fourth one here. So we're going to do the last one. I'm going to Control D. I'm going to bring it down. So I'm clicking on the group now. I'm going to see minus 1 to 80. Yes. Then you do the remaining one manually. Yeah. Okay. So we are good. So the next thing we are going to do now is, so I'm going to zoom out. The next thing we are going to do now is to highlight everything here and create, put it in a create a component set, bringing them down. So I'm going to highlight everything here, and up here where we see create our component, you see create component set. So we have created it now. So we can go ahead now and quickly do the prototype. So for this prototype now, the interaction I want to add is the trigger we want to add is after delay. Yeah, so we're going to work with after delay. So for the first one, I'm going to click on our prototype and I'm going to add a connection and I want it to be after delay and I want the after delay to be 1000 depending on how fast you want it to 1000 milliseconds. Then I want to put it as smart and animate. I want it to come in naturally so that I don't have to click anything for it to come. So, and I'm going to use ease out. Okay, let's use ease out. So let's say 500 millisec. There's not really a rule. You can actually use something smaller, something bigger, and you're good to go. So this one, I'm going to still go ahead and put after delay, every other thing. So the ease out is there for me. I think the system captured that one, so I don't need to put it again. So you should always check to see if sometimes once you do the first one, the prototype can actually help you and do the remaining. Like this smart animate, the moment I put it in the first one, it's just there for me. So the next one I'm going to see add after delay. I'm going to do 1000 millisecond because I don't want it to be too fast. Uh-huh. So the last one, I want it to go back to the first one. I'm still going to add after delay. Uh-huh. I'm going to change this to 1000 millisecond. Okay, so we are good to go now. So the next thing we are going to do is to go back to our frame. Let's go back to our design. Let's go back to design mode. So next we are going to do, we're going to go to assets and look for this. Where are we going to find it? So what's the name? Component one. So let me just name it properly. Our image. And see if we can find it. So naming actually helps you to find our, well, so we have it here. So I'm going to put it in our desktop frame. And I'm going to put it in the center. But I want it to come down a little. Yes. So let's check. So I'm going to add a starting point to it. I'm going to click the prototype now and I'm going to add close starting point. See, the first one that we did was 2. So I want this one to be, the first one that we did was 1. So I want this one to be 2. So let's go ahead and play. Okay, see, we need to change the setting to desktop. Currently, it's on a mobile, so it actually show on a mobile. So we're going to go ahead and change this back. So it's a MacBook Air, it's a desktop. So we're going to play and see. Let's play and see. So because it's smart animate, the images will just have to slide, and we use ease out. So you have to just come in on its own. Is are we still following? So you don't have to do anything. So that's what smart animate is for that. So if you're following, you just indicate. Okay, somebody's following. Is anybody confused? Do you have any questions to ask? Yeah, so you can actually get free picks from your plugin. The same way you got on Splash. You can get free picks here. Okay, so we are following. I think we'll just do one last one. So let's do something different. So we can actually see if you have access to this Figma file, just indicate in the chat this particular Figma file. Okay, nobody. I sent it earlier. Just check the last resources I sent. You'll find it there. So okay, let's quickly do another one. Okay, I think the one I sent, cross check again, Harry, is this one. Okay, I think that was a mistake. I think I've corrected it. Check again. Thank you. No, no, no. Yeah, check again. All right. So the next one we're going to do now, we're just going to quickly do something easy. Then we can call it a night. So I'm going to, so let's swap. by the side. Let's go back to our design mode. So when you want to design, go back to design mode. When you want to prototype, go back to prototype mode. So I'm going to turn off our grid here. Let's turn off our grid. Yes. So just imagine you're designing a hero session and maybe like a restaurant hero session and you do a carousel. That's how you want the functionality to look like. So that when your developers actually developing, they know that okay, this is the kind of interaction that we want to add here. It actually help both your developers and your users to understand your product better. The next thing we're going to have, let's quickly do something a little bit easy. Okay, so let's do horizontal scroll, something just fast. So for this one, I'm not really going to, okay, let's add images for now. So I'm going to take a frame and, I'm going to let me just add colors, just check how the pen is looking. I'm going to always work with your grid to actually make your work to look better. So I want this frame to be this size. I don't really have a size in mind. So I'm going to just make a corner radius of 10. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So I'm going to take out this one too. So let's name these, don't know, I don't really have it. Uh, let's say card 1. Let me delete this and duplicate this 5 places or more than. So let's say 7. So I think I will just, let's work around this. Just, no, that's not, this is not what I want. Okay. Do you have anything in mind between to use? Okay. Okay. I think we can just play around with this for now. So I just want us to put horizontal scroll, how to make our page to scroll horizontally, and the extent we do the vertical one too. It's actually taking time to do. Okay, it's actually taking time. Okay. Uh, I don't know. Let's just work with it. It's actually like maybe when you want to design a category session where you want your users to scroll and see other categories. So let me say this is a dance app, maybe something like that. So just go ahead and just pick, just practicing. So when you're designing, you just have to look for what you're designing for. So if you're designing like an e-commerce site, you know that you have different categories. Another scroll feature that we have is on Instagram, where you have even your status, WhatsApp status here. So this is how you'll be able to like achieve that. And on your Instagram, where you can see Instagram stories, to where you can scroll horizontally, vertically, and all that. So you can also see that. Uh, it's actually taking time. Are you sure we will not leave it? I think we'll just leave it. It's loading. Let's do this. Okay, I think that's all. Okay. Okay. The next thing I want to do now is what do I want to do? Any idea? I think I've forgotten what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it. Um, and I'm going to make this space. So let me put it here. I'm going to add it in auto layout. So choose A. Let's see if this can work. I want the spacing in between to be 24. Can this work? Or let's do 10. Do we want 16? I already have and so uh image scroll. Just capitalism. So okay. Then I'm going to how this works. I'm going to add it to our frame and I'm going to click content and see. Nothing how this actually works. So let's see. When I click content, this is where I want it to scroll horizontally. Or well, let's leave the content for now. You can actually leave it or you keep it. So let's put it and see. So if I want this to scroll horizontally, I'm going to go back to our prototype. Looking at our prototype, we have the flow setting point where you have in beneath it you have interaction, you have scroll behavior. So you have no scrolling. I don't want this to scroll. You have horizontal scroll, vertical scroll, scroll both directions. So I'm going to put it in horizontal flow. I'm going to make it our starting point 3. So we're going to go ahead and play. Let's see whether this will work. Does not work. Okay, we need to change our frame. Forgot to change that. I want to change our frame back to mobile because this is a mobile view that we want. Going to come here and change it to 13. Let's play and see. So this you have to do it manually. Smart animate, you have to animate automatically. So with this, I think we have come to the end of today's class. So I'm going to go ahead and sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Can anybody still hear me? Okay. Okay, so we have come to the end of our class today. Um, okay.